I'm meteorologist John Dawson. You found us on YouTube. This is the Fox 26 Tropical Update. Thanks for doing all the clicking and getting here. We're glad you're checking in and seeing what is going to be happening at the tropics, because we don't have enough time usually in a newscast to really dive into things a little bit. And that's what we'll get to do here for the next few minutes as we're talking about the latest from the National Hurricane Center and everything that's happening in the tropics. So we're going to be focusing just on the Atlantic basin today. Sometimes we bounce back and forth and do both the Atlantic and the Eastern Pacific, but for today, we're just going to be focusing on the Atlantic. And when you take a look at what's happening right now at the moment, it is quiet across the majority of the Atlantic basin, and for sure the Atlantic, and a lot of that having to do with that Saharan dust that we've been dealing with over the last couple of months. So a little bit of a batch of this sort of moving in through the Bahamas and into the Gulf of Mexico now. Then we've got a much sort of richer, thicker batch of that as we move back a little bit. You can see how this dust is coming off of the coast of Africa and then lingering around in the atmospheres quite a bit. So again, this is a forecast that we're showing. This is not something that's monitoring what's happening at the moment, but we're showing what's expected as we're going through the next couple of days. And again, this nice and really thick batch of that dust. So just a reminder, again, the Saharan dust, it helps to sort of prohibit the development of tropical systems. Not going to stop it completely, but it's certainly not something that helps promote the development of it. And typically when you see this really thick like this, it just has trouble kind of getting going. And while we're not looking for anything to be happening in this portion of the Atlantic, when we kind of switch gears a little bit and looks further south of where that plume of the sand is and the dust, that's where we kind of begin to see some more of this relatively disorganized thunderstorms and sort of making its way a little bit further closer to the equator. And if you want to go back, this is about as far away as a tropical wave can get and still have the attention of the National Hurricane Center. It would be harder to find anything further away than the orange X right here that the Hurricane Center is currently keeping an eye on. This is where we have a tropical wave literally on the coast of Africa. And again, very, very far away from the United States at this point. But as this tropical wave moves west and gets probably 3 days from now, so the mid portions of the week, it's going to enter an area that's much more favorable for tropical development. At least that's what the expectations are. So this large orange area kind of representing where the possibilities of that tropical cyclone formation to be. So again, currently the tropical wave is over here off the coast of Africa. As it moves for the next couple of days, that's why you'll notice in the chances that the Hurricane Center are putting out, 0% expectations in the next 2 days. But once we get into that day 3 to 5 period, all of this orange shaded area is where we could see a tropical cyclone form, which would be a depression. So again, just a reminder, you start with a depression typically, and then a storm, and then possibly even into a hurricane. A depression has the number, and then when it gets to a storm, that's when it gets a name. So by the time we get to the mid portions of the week, there's a pretty good chance, at least a 40% right now, and I would think this is going to increase as we get a little bit further down the line, that we will have a tropical depression somewhere in that orange shading. So, you know, this is the time of year when things really do begin to ramp up as far as the activity goes. We haven't had any activity. The last time we had a named storm was Colin, and I think that was July 3rd when that left us. It wasn't around for very long, and then it was done by July 3rd. So we've gone a full month with really not having seen much happening. And there's, again, not a tropical cyclone at the moment. There's just those expectations, that possibility that we could see one. But as we get to mid-August, 15th, 16th, that's when things are really beginning to ramp up quite a bit. And then officially September the 10th is the peak of hurricane season in the Atlantic basin, when we're looking back at history and showing when we see most of those activities happening. So we are definitely with the Hurricane Center and watching that tropical wave way, way out there. Obviously, there's a lot of time to monitor this if it were to develop into something, and so many questions on what it might be doing. But we'll continue to watch it, and then we'll be here again every day little bit after 4 p.m., giving those tropical updates. If you'd like to follow me on social media, that would be great. I'm at John Dawson Fox 26. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, I use all of those just a little bit differently, so it would be great to connect with you on those. And again, make sure you're back here again tomorrow in the afternoon, and we'll get the latest updates on what's happening in the tropics.